Right. Arsenal went ahead to knock out Crystal Palace yesterday. I was really on radio and I was like, when I get back home, I'll really do the recording. But guys, I tell you what, by the time I got back home, I was really naked, torn apart. And I'm like, I'm tired. I'll do this when I really wake up. And I had to obviously recharge my batteries. And here I am obviously bringing you the match reaction of Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David being my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. And let's continue to obviously put in a very huge shift and see to it that you guys coming through and really subscribe, because we want to hit 30,000 subscribers. And you know what it means when you clock that number. It means that at least we've gone ahead to hit a milestone in this particular sense. And this game was supposed to be played last week. I've always gone ahead to give you the reason as to why it was not played last week. Arsenal and Crystal Palace. It was because Crystal Palace had played 2 games in a space of like 4 days, and they couldn't obviously take it to the next level. And what's that level? It was all about playing 3 games in 5 days. You understand? So it was really very impossible. And it being very impossible, that's why the people responsible for this were like, we are obviously gonna extend or postpone this game to be played next week. And next week came in through, and obviously it was Arsenal into the mix. And guess what? Arsenal came in through and played the game. I thought they could win it by 2-0, by the way, but obviously it never went on well as we really went ahead to obviously plan it. And Arsenal came up. They really put up a very good display, I tell you, because I think Gabriel Jesus, on close to 3 occasions, he would have gone ahead to obviously execute some big chances in there, but he couldn't, you know. But I really like that he has been out for so long, but his connection with, I saw Belechi Eze is really trying to build up. And because for him and Martin Odegaard, they are already in sync, meaning that him and Eze linking up on how they really linked up in that game was really very, very important for everyone who really went ahead to obviously watch that game. And those huge positives that Arsenal really went ahead to get in there for you. So he really looked a live wire. That is it. And he went ahead to evidence that Martinelli shouldn't be a starter. You know, he shouldn't be a starter. You get? And maybe the manager noticed that maybe it could go to penalties, and Martinelli has a very bad record when it comes to scoring penalties in games of Arsenal. And you remember, I think last time he took a penalty, he was the reason as to why Arsenal was knocked out of the UEFA Europa League, because they are playing with, was it FC Sporting Lisbon? And they are really knocked out. And he really missed out onto that. So, as it stands, the club of Arsenal did the job. And some people are like still not convinced that the club is obviously going to do the needful to obviously take this home. Now, Arsenal went ahead to really see an own goal through Maxence Locris in the 80th minute, and Arsenal led. Then 15 minutes later, Mark Gay went ahead to obviously level up 1-1, and you know, there's an extra time, you head straight to penalties, and they went to penalties. In penalties, Arsenal took 8 penalties and all went to the back of the net, and the side of Crystal Palace saw 7 of those in, and 1 was really saved, if you really saw everything. And the stats of Arsenal before they went to penalties were really very, very, very important in there for you. When you look at their stats, I tell you what, you really understand that Arsenal put out a shift, but it was not a day for them to win this game in open play, I tell you. Arsenal had 17 shots. Crystal Palace had only 6 shots. Arsenal had 7 shots, meaning that they really lacked a little bit of composure in the final third of the pitch, because at least they would have wanted to have like 8, 9, but I think 7, not bad, not bad. Crystal Palace had 2. Arsenal had a possession of 69%. and Crystal Palace had a possession of 31%. 9 fouls by Arsenal and 11 fouls by Crystal Palace. 1 yellow card to Arsenal and 0 yellow cards to Crystal Palace. No red cards were issued. 1 offside to both sides. 8 corners to the club of Arsenal and 2 corners to the side of Crystal Palace. And then they went into penalties. I saw Martin Odegaard score, right? And Saka came up and scored. Odegaard took the first penalty, you get? And then Mateta came in through and really went ahead to take the first penalty for that side. You get? It went inside. And Rice came in through. He went ahead to blast it home and to make it 2-1 for the club of Arsenal. Then Deveni came in through and obviously did the needful and scored. You know, Saka came in through and obviously scored in the corner. You understand? Then Hughes came in through and set Kepa the long way with the masterclass penalty in there. Then Trossard came in through and went ahead to obviously go high into the net. And I'm like, good penalty taken by Trossard, and their precision was really on point. Then Sosa came in through and did the needful and really scored, you understand, and making it 4-4. Then Mikel Merino came in through with pressure and took a very beautiful penalty, and he made it 5-4 for the club of Arsenal. Then Lemar came in through, and everyone knew to it that if at all Lemar missed, then they would have gone ahead to obviously find themselves in a position of not proceeding to the next round. You get? And what Lemar did was to go onto the bottom right corner and went ahead to put that penalty in there, and Kepa couldn't even get close to that. Now, after that, we went into what we call the first loser. You know? First loser in there for you. And the first team to lose and the other scores, you were totally out. You know, it was what we call the test of luck at Arsenal. You know, it was the pure test of luck at the club of Arsenal. And I tell you what, it really went the right way. And guess what happened? Carafiori opened up in these best loser penalties. He made it 6-5 for the club of Arsenal. Crystal Palace, Adam Watson came in through and obviously sent Kepa the wrong way, and it was 6-6 in there. Then we also to it that Timber obviously came in through and scored a very beautiful penalty to make it 7-6. Then there came in through Uche, who sent Kepa the wrong way, and it was 7-7. Now, Saliba came in through and slid it straight into the back of the net to make it 8-7. And Kepa came in through and obviously served the penalty of Lacroix. And Lacroix is the man that really scored in his own net to give Arsenal the lead in the 80th minute. And that's how Arsenal went into the semi-finals, and they went ahead to jubilate. So, the biggest factor I saw in this game is anyone who despises luck. Now, if you despise luck, then you've not followed football for some time. You get? I tell you, all signs are like this season is all for Arsenal. You get? Yesterday, they would have gone ahead to find themselves in a position of really being knocked out. Why? Lacroix scores an own goal. They never scored, meaning that they needed again that got the opposite team to score for them. And if that goal had not gone inside, in the 90th plus 5th minute, McGahey would have gone ahead to knock them out. But by the time McGahey did that, Lacroix had already gone ahead to do that damage on his own team that acted as a favor in Arsenal's play. You get? So it's really very concerning, very, very concerning for the club of Arsenal on what they went ahead to achieve. And the luck is on their side. I tell you, they're going to be playing Chelsea in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and you know what will happen. You know, I see them play in the final, because when you look at the Carabao Cup and the fixtures, by the time they play one another, let's see, what's the date when these two teams are obviously going to be facing off? It's going to be 13th January. Do you know that by 13th January, Kai Havertz is going to be back? Gabriel Magalhaes is going to be back. You get? So, even Ben White might be back. And Arsenal will be having a full squad that can obviously take on Chelsea. Even Chelsea will be having its players, but Chelsea is a good team. But they cannot really stop this team that is really on a mission. And I know that on that day, the manager will go strong. He will provide his strong 11. I know the likes of Jokers will be rested for Gabriel Jesus, and very many others. But all in all, Arsenal have gone ahead to knock out Chelsea. And let's wait, 13th January, semi-finals are coming in through as Man City will tussling it out with Newcastle. I'm out. Bye-bye. And hope you missed me, but I'm back in full swing. And bye-bye.